All right. Hello there, everyone. My name is Daniel, and I will be presenting on Chela Sandoval. Go to the next slide. Oops. Okay. So a little introduction about Chela. Communication is more than just sharing messages. It's not that simple or that linear. It's also something about survival, about resistance, and about identity. Chela Sandoval's work explores how marginalized people use flexible and strategic shifts in their identity and their language to navigate systems of power. Her theory of differential consciousness expands communication theory. It is rooted in Chicana feminism, and it challenges dominant Western communication models by centering the survival strategies of oppressed people. Chela is a Chicana feminist, a scholar, and a professor at UC Santa Barbara who identifies with a form of feminism called Third World Feminism, queer theory, and decolonial resistance. As noted, I'm sorry about that. There you go. As noted by Delgado Bernal in 1998, Sandoval's work provides a language and methodology that makes the experiences of Chicanas visible in a field that has long ignored them. Her work raises new questions. Her work raises new ideas, and those ideas mainly follow something of a kind of identity shifting that is possible to be able to identify your own culture within different ones, if that kind of makes sense. And I'll go ahead and explain that further. I just wanted to give a kind of introduction there. So her theory, as I just mentioned, is about a differential consciousness, and it was introduced in her book Methodology of the Oppressed in 2000. And differential consciousness is the ability to shift when it's best for you between ideologies such as feminism, Marxism, post-colonialism, maybe just other forms of identity that you could form within yourself. Maybe it's your own cultural identity too, as I just mentioned, or your heritage, and being able to kind of shift between ideologies depending on the context. So whenever it's needed, and this is not really making one's identity worse or choosing one over the other, but it's instead, as she introduced it, as a form of survival, a form to which anyone can adapt strategically to different structures of power. And yes, it's a gear shift, and it's an effort, and it's a resistance that takes place within you when you're doing it. But most of the time, it's what lets people survive and resist more dominant ideologies from being pressed onto you. At times, maybe you don't have to fully engulf yourself with it, but maybe just shift a little bit of your ideology to kind of fit in. Well, not exactly fit in. It's not. I mean, it is a form of fitting in, but the exact goal is more so to survive than to just do something so simple as to fit in. That kind of her idea, or excuse me, to be a little bit deeper. Okay, let's go to the next slide. The core concepts of the theory is that they reject a single fixed identity on a person, and instead embrace something that's more hybrid, something that shifts some identity that's constantly changing. And her work emphasizes for you to have flexibility, movement, and also at the same time, even though you're flexible and you're movable like this, adaptable, you're also resistant enough to keep your own ideology strong too. So it combines something called semiotics, which is the study of signs, post-structuralism, and liberation politics. And Sandoval also draws from the work of other theorists, including Gloria Anzaldúa, Franz Fanon, and Mikhail Foucault. According to Sandoval, differential consciousness offers a new subjectivity, one that resists domination by refusing to settle into one ideology. Essentially, we're finding a way to survive in between the midst of all the different ideologies that exist, all the virtually infinite ones that exist, of whether you want to identify yourself in this way or in that way. Everyone's identities can be different, and that's okay. Her point is that she wants to find a way to survive and to adapt in a world with such shifting and with so many different ideologies. So some real life application here. We can see her ideology is mainly present when people note some things like code switching, when they change their language, maybe they're speaking in a different way with a different group. Maybe they'll change their tone. Maybe with some group they'll speak in a more excited way, a more passionate way, and with other groups they'll adapt to that group's identity some more by speaking in a calmer tone, maybe in a more passionate tone, as I just mentioned, or perhaps even how your identity switches between home and between school. You know, your friends can say that you're one person, but your parents might say that you're a whole separate one. You know, and you can also see it a lot in social media activism as well, as people blend academic critique with things like memes, playing, cultural references. So all over social media, you'll find everything. You'll find memes, slang, academic things, world topics, politics, and it's finding out how to kind of navigate something with so many different identities like that. And finally, also students who study or who know multiple languages or who grew up speaking multiple languages might be able to accept or kind of understand this a little bit better, as it might already be going through something like this on a daily basis without even thinking of twice about it. Maybe with their family, they're acting a certain way, and it completely makes sense with your family. You'll be speaking a certain way, you'll be acting a certain way, maybe a different language even. And then with friends, as you're speaking a different language, your brain is working in a different pattern than how it does when you're speaking that other language. So it's pretty common, I'd say. It's a pretty common ideology that really does help people just learn how to survive in the world. Why I chose to focus on her. I chose to focus on Chela Sandoval because her work challenges dominant communication models by centering the experience. Excuse me, by centering the experience of oppressed people, and her theory provides marginalized individuals with a voice and a strategy to navigate dominant structures without losing themselves in these structures. And Sandoval's work has influenced fields such as feminist rhetoric, decolonial education, media theory, cultural studies, and her theory encourages solidarity. Oops. And her theory encourages solidarity and team building across differences as well. So it encourages you to become your own independent person, to identify with yourself, yet also to merge that identity and maybe build a team in a better way than if you were possibly constantly butting heads with identity struggles. So it's kind of just learning to accept and to survive around different identities, different people. Oops. Next slide. I think I read this one yet. Sorry. Okay, so in conclusion, Sandoval's theory reframes communication as a powerful tool for both survival and resistance. Differential consciousness gives marginalized people a way to move through systems of oppression without being trapped by them. So it's a way to be able to, I know I've said it many times, but to be able to survive, to really survive in the world with your identity and without losing that identity that you have, but still survive and still fit in. I keep on mentioning fit in, but I want to talk more about how it's about survival and how it's about being able to just survive in a world with so many different identities going on in a strategic, flexible, adaptable way that also stays rigid to your own central identity. So it's a multi-layer approach, but it's a very helpful approach to staying true to who you are and to being able to survive in a world with so many oppressive and so many different and so many just virtually infinite identities there are, in which a way can in which one of those identities can butt heads with yours, and which can cause one of you guys to maybe look at the other as if there should not be influencing you as much, but yet it does. So it's finding out a way to survive around these more oppressing identities. And that's not really giving it a negative or a positive viewing on those identities, which is why I'm trying to stand back and refrain from talking about fitting in and more so talking about just surviving. 'Cause it's not about the good or the bad. It's just about plain old survival. And as just wanted to end this off with one last quote from Sandoval herself, which is that theory is not just for thinking; it is for surviving. So we're not only theorizing our own identities, we're not only theorizing all this stuff just to come up with some better academic paper, but she's actually coming up with this stuff to help survive in this world that we live in. And that's something that's important to everyone, everyone, not just to academic thinkers. So that kind of really stuck with me and made me want to talk about her some more. So thank you so much. And here are my references for my academic sources. All right. Thank you. Goodbye.